Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. And starting here on the 1 hour chart, yesterday we saw of course a massive drop toward the downside, a little bit, or I would say a little bit aggressive. And that because of course we had a wave 4 in case we are in the bullish scenario here, 1 2 3, and then wave 4 and a 5. Don't forget that every single correction that we had inside this impulse toward the upside was a very sideways, and we didn't get any kind of like a real good correction or deeper correction. And that will reflect of course in the top here, where we are looking at a potential very deep A, B, and a C for a wave 4. Now, of course, we were expecting anyway the 100K here. We did not reach it even yet. We did not even reach the 100K. We stopped above the 100, almost K 500, which leaving some space for a wave 5 here, because a wave 5 still need of course to unfold as 1 2 3 4 and a 5. You see the wave 5 that it is 1 2 3 and still looking for a wave 4 and a 5. If we dive a little bit inside it on the micro level for the 15-minute chart here, we can see that you have topped here for a wave 4, and you have a leading diagonal wave 1, and you have a W, an X, and also a wave Y finished for a wave 2 inside this wave Y. And by all means that you have finished here a wave 1 and then wave 2. Now inside this wave 3 here, you are looking of course at a 1 2 3, right? And this might have finished of course a wave 3. Now currently you are in a wave 4, and you would like to finish a wave 5 of course inside it. So basically I would say that yeah, if you reach this invalidation, which is a 103K 960, that might be of course invalidation of the bearish scenario, which is of course one more leg at least toward the downside. And this of course can unfold as something like bullish, right? If we take this invalidation, it can be a bullish scenario, and meaning of course that you shift here to 1 2 3 4 5, simply continuation for higher. However, preferably of course to see this leg finished as properly as a wave 5 here, finishing wave C with it and finishing wave 4 with it. That would be much more healthier actually, and to finish properly the correction and not moving without finishing a correction, which it might affect in the top, right? So basically one more leg would be ideal, I would say, at 0.38. 100K would be awesome scenario. And then of course moving towards the upside, because 100K is a very psychological number, and it might of course reflect a lot of entries for Bitcoin, and it might of course unfold something very bullish afterward. So this is regarding of course the bullish scenario. Now the bearish scenario would be something very interesting also to look at. In case that we have finished here an ABC, don't forget that this can be also a 1 2 3 4 and a 5. By all means, you are looking potentially to this scenario, which is of course on the 2-hour chart, to see it all of it from the beginning here, where we have topped exactly for a wave 5 here, and we have a wave 1 for the bull run, right? The last bull run, and we start to move of course correctively towards the downside in W, X, and a Y here. For a wave A of course, and this wave A has finished the first leg of this bear market, and currently we move towards the upside in W, X, Y, X, and a Z as a corrective 5 waves, which is a very, or the most complex structure that you might see of course in Elliott wave, and very rare case, but still of course can be for a wave B here, reaching the 1.05, which is a perfect fib level for an expanding flat in a wave A, and then a wave B, and then a wave C toward the downside as an expanding flat. Of course you would like to see a wave C impulsive 1 2 3 4 and a 5. In this case scenario, you are still forming a wave 1 here, which it might be of course an impulse, and you would look after a wave 2 later on, and then 3 4 and a 5. And in this case scenario, you might have a 1, 2, and then a wave 3 here, and then of course having wave 4 and a 5 toward the downside. And that means of course once we reach one more leg right now toward the downside, 100k, we're gonna retrace toward the upside anyway. And the retracement has to be analyzed. Would it be 3 waves toward the upside for a wave 4? Or would it be a continuation for higher in a wave 3, 4, and a 5, of course, to reach higher and a new all-time high for Bitcoin? And this is exactly the key scenario that it might, of course, decide what's gonna happen later on. So right now we didn't see anything yet. Of course, in case we are bearish, we still have a retracement for a wave 4 anyway, and then moving down for a wave 5, and even going back higher, of course, for a wave 2, and then a 3, 4, and a 5. And that's why I did not confirm yesterday any bearish market, and I was trying to relax you guys despite the red that we're gonna see, and to not be scared, because of course the bullish scenario is still there. There is no bear market confirmed 100% yet, of course, until we get a wave 4 and a 5. 5 waves towards the downside will decide, of course, the direction of the market. Once we get a 5 waves impulsive, meaning of course that we are looking at a direction or downtrend, which is of course telling us, okay, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unfolding towards the downside after then a B, and a C expanding flat. So yeah, basically those are the main bullish and the bearish scenarios that it might happen for Bitcoin right now. And of course, I would like to say that this scenario, which is of course a WX and a Y, has started to fade, right? And that because, of course, if you have a wave Y to be finished here, you would like to finish, of course, in a double zigzag, somehow at least, where you have, of course, the first zigzag for the W, the wave X given, and you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wave A. Now you got a wave B kind of WX and a Y. But here you finished in a zigzag, and it was of course very corrective, and it has of course turned it into a complex structure, which is the W, X, and a Y, because you started with a zigzag and you have finished it with a zigzag, and of course you got a big zigzag as a wave Y in between, plus the triangles as of course X's as bridges. And this is a very perfect, I would say, pattern as bearish. If I would say, as bearish, meaning of course if it works, that means of course a wave C, and of course yeah, it looks very completed W, X, Y, X, and a Z here. And this is the only scenario that I see, of course, to move towards the downside in case we move downward. But currently it's very early to say that we are bearish, guys. The signal that we would like to see is exactly here. We would like to see, of course, a wave 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. So if we see a zigzag, for example, that of course can reflect later on at the 1-to-1 fib level, so we have to watch it. If we move down, of course, that might be your wave 5, and then getting a wave 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 towards the downside, guys. So I would say today, let's watch what's gonna happen. Of course, on the 1-hour chart, I'm expecting still one more leg towards the downside in a correction and not in a bear market. So I'm looking still for the 100k, guys, to see it unfolding and see the reaction there. If we take a look also at a KGT, we can see that we have some bullish signals, but basically on the 15-minute chart, can reflect, of course, something higher, but it still can move for lower later on, which is, I think, the time to move back again for lower prices. We see invalidation of the bullish. We see more conversions from the bearish signals from the top, as you can see, putting pressure toward the downside. The price action took the low here also. Here, of course, it was good, but here it was invalidated. And this was a signal that we might shift to bearish scenario. So be careful, guys, and trade safe. That was it for Bitcoin today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.